Look up. Not everything from the sky is from heaven. From ancient star gods to modern alien deception, humanity has been staring at the sky for years, looking for a light. And all we've been getting is counterfeits with wings. They weren't aliens. They weren't angels. They were fallen thrones from orbit. And we're about to trace back every winged lie straight to its launch pad. Welcome to Gods of the Fallen, Episode 8 Thrones of the Sky. If this is your first time, welcome to the Trruthseekers, where we don't just chase down the answers. No, we body slam lies with biblical truth. We're the podcast that asks, what are these gods of mythology? And these aliens in our Netflix queue? And these spirits behind our horoscopes are all on the same payroll. Strap in. Because today, we're not looking for little green men. No. We're naming the names. The high-ranking rebels who hijacked the heavens and convinced humanity to build shrines for star demons. And let's be honest, some of y'all believe your cat is a reincarnated Egyptian goddess. But you roll your eyes when we talk about fallen angels? Come on now. This isn't sci-fi. This is spiritual warfare with celestial consequences. Prince of the power of the air, Satan's sky throne. If you still picture Satan in little red tights with a pitchfork, buckle up. Because Satan isn't roasting marshmallows in hell. No. He's running air traffic control straight to your TikTok feed. See, you thought Satan got kicked out of heaven and landed straight into hell. But that's not what your Bible says. The prince of the power of the air. The spirit now at work in the sons of disobedience. Ephesians 2:2. He didn't fall into fire. He fell into the air. And he's still running his dark little kingdom from the atmosphere. Broadcasting rebellion like Wi-Fi with unlimited data and zero parental controls. He's not in chains. He's not done. And worst of all, he's not alone. This is why the early church didn't just fight temptation. They fought principalities in high places. The sky has layers. And right now, it's crawling with authority we can't see, but we can absolutely feel it. Have you ever wondered why the heavens are described as high places in spiritual warfare? That's because the enemy has set up shop in the air. It's not just weather patterns and satellite signals up there. It's ancient powers broadcasting deception, influencing nations, and whispering lies into the minds of kings, cultures, and algorithms. You don't just scroll through the air. You're scrolling through a battlefield. And some of y'all are out here in war wearing shorts and flip-flops. No armor, no shield, no truth. Because putting on the full armor of God means stepping out of your comfort zone. And far too many people are comfortable in their cages. Yes, ignorance feels like bliss. But bliss without truth is a trap. See, Jesus didn't say he was comfort. He said he was the way, the truth, and the life. And truth doesn't always fit neatly into your schedule or your vibes. Some of y'all hear truth and act like you got somewhere way better to be. But let me tell you something. It's better to be armored now than uncomfortable later. Than burning later, wishing that you could trade your chains for a shield of faith or a breastplate of righteousness. And most of y'all have no idea who's hijacked the airwaves. filling every frequency with lies, distractions, and doctrines of demons disguised as data plans. Satan didn't fall from heaven to hell. He fell from grace to gridlock. And now he runs spiritual air traffic like it's a throne room. The host of heaven, when stars were worshipped. Have you ever wondered why God keeps warning Israel not to worship the stars? See, it wasn't astrology, it was idolatry in orbit. And beware, lest you raise up your eyes to heaven and be drawn away and bow down to them and serve them. Things that the Lord your God has allotted to all the peoples under the whole heaven. Deuteronomy 4:19. The agents didn't just gaze at the constellations. They named them, prayed to them, built temples to them. They called them gods. But God called them host of heaven and warned his people not to bow to them. From Mesopotamia to Greece, from India to Egypt. Baal was basically a storm chasing weatherman who thought thunder made him divine. Marduk got handed a celestial throne for beating a sea monster. Congrats! You're the universe's first cosplay champion. Ra rode his solar boat across the sky like a divine Uber driver with a sun fetish. Shemesh thought he ruled justice because he lit things up. Basically, the ancient flashlight with a god complex. Even Babylon mapped the skies with demonic devotion, assigning powers to planets and bowing to burning balls of gas. And it's all gone today, right? No. Today, we call it astrology, horoscopes, and zodiac. And then we act like it's all harmless. But let's be real. You're not just checking your vibe. You're syncing with a system designed by the same fallen spirits that God has warned us about. Every horoscope is a whisper from a fallen old throne. Every zodiac sign is a counterfeit identity crafted in agent rebellion. It's not just about checking your personality traits. It's about spiritual alignment. And the deeper you go, the darker it gets. Astrology isn't cute. It's camouflage. Communion with hosts of heaven that fail. And some of y'all are leaning back in y'all's chair like, oh snap, he just said it. Yes, I did. With a straight face too, like I was reading the weather. Skies today, partly cloudy with a 100% chance of idolatry. If the stars could talk, they wouldn't just file a restraining order. They lawyer up, press charges, and demand reparations for centuries of spiritual identity theft. The divine council, not all gods were fake, but they were all fallen. What if the Bible doesn't just mock these gods, but confirms their existence? God has taken place in the divine council. In the midst of the gods, he holds judgment. Psalms 82:1. You heard it. Yep, that's in scripture. There were other gods, spiritual beings given dominion over the nations. But instead of leading with righteousness, they rebelled and demanded worship. God handed them seats and they built thrones. Psalms 82 isn't poetic fluff. It's a divine courtroom scene. God pulls up on these fallen rulers and says, "You are God's sons of the Most High, but you will die like men." Psalms 82, verses 6 through 7. They had authority and they abused it. And judgment is coming. These weren't imaginary gods. They were fallen functionaries, real spiritual rulers who corrupted their assignment and turned the nations into a playground of deception. See, when I first read Psalm 82 and realized God was judging other gods, man, it hit different. I was raised thinking these gods were just fake stories, harmless symbols. But Psalms 82 flipped the lights on. This wasn't myth, it was a heavenly audit. God calling out the spiritual rulers, that's not fiction. That's divine justice in motion. Suddenly, the chaos of this world, it made sense. The generational sin, the cultural confusion, the false peace parading as unity. It wasn't just human failure. It was a rebellion above us, influencing the rebellion within us. That's when the veil lifted. And I realized these gods weren't just harmless, they were declarations of war against the Most High. And we've been humming their anthems, building their platforms with our attention spans, worshiping at the altars that we didn't even realize were thrones. This wasn't mythology. This was spiritual warfare disguised as culture, progress, self expression. See, Jesus said the path is narrow and few find it. And now I see why. The broad path was lit up by neon gods, and the narrow one is carved through fire. See, if we don't speak now, they'll keep deceiving. If we don't fight now, they'll keep ruling. Silence isn't safety, it's surrender. And I refuse to co sign for another boardroom of hell. The divine council wasn't a myth, it was a boardroom of mutiny. And God's about to clean house. The fall of the Watchers, when heaven was breached. Before mythology, before temples, before idols with thunderbolts and 6 arms, there was a breach. The sons of God saw the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took them as wives. Genesis 6, verse 2. See, this wasn't just some romance. This was rebellion, the original heavenly insurrection. The Watchers, divine beings, left their assigned post and descended to earth. And what they did? They crossed the line between heaven and humanity. And what they created? It wasn't divine. It was monstrous. The Nephilim, giants, warriors, the stuff of ancient nightmares. The corruption, forbidden knowledge, sorcery, bloodshed, manipulation. If you dive into the book of Enoch, it pulls back the veil even further. These beings taught mankind enchantments and root cutting, astrological secrets, warfare, weaponry, makeup, and seduction. It was a spiritual colonization wrapped in wonder. They didn't just break heaven's boundaries, they tried to rewrite creation's order. And what did God do? The angels who did not keep their proper dominion, he reserved in everlasting chains under darkness for the day of judgment, the great day. Jude 1, verse 6. The divine prison wasn't built on earth, it was dug beneath it. And the Watchers are still influencing the surface through their stories, bloodlines, and demonic doctrines. Long ago, your ancestors, including Terah, the father of Abraham, lived beyond the Euphrates and worshipped other gods. Joshua 24, verse 2. Even Abraham's roots had residue from these gods and their rebellion. They weren't just cultural figures. They were pre-flood powers whose influence survived the water. Their thrones didn't drown. They just changed the address. The alien deception. When fallen gods got a rebrand. Aliens, UFOs, galactic beings of light. They didn't come from another galaxy. They came from the same rebellion. Even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. 2 Corinthians 11:14. Humanity is being groomed for a grand deception. The fallen ones used to wear crowns and carry thunderbolts, and now they show up as star brothers with glowing eyes and advanced tech. And here's the kicker. It's working. Governments are releasing UFO footage, celebrities are channeling light beings, and kids are being taught Asian astronaut theories and documentaries with dramatic violins. We replace altars with algorithms, but the worship is the same. In the past, they came as gods. Now, they come as guides. And soon, they'll come as saviors. They perform great signs, even causing fire to fall down from heaven to deceive the inhabitants of earth. Revelation 13:13. This isn't science fiction. It's the oldest deception wrapped in a modern skin suit. The gods didn't leave. All they did was upgrade their branding. And humanity is lining up for the collab drop. Final strike. Heaven will be cleared. You've heard it said, as above, so below. But that was never God's design. Because what's above right now, it's contaminated. Then war broke out in heaven. Revelations 12:7. This ends with a cosmic eviction. Michael and his angels versus the dragon and his. And when it's over, there was no longer any place for them in heaven. Revelations 12:8. Every fallen throne in the sky destroyed. Every demon in the atmosphere expelled. God isn't just reclaiming the earth, He's purging the heavens. The prince of the power of the air, the false gods of the stars, the cosmic liars behind alien deception. Gone. Like AOL dial-up, like MySpace friend requests, evicted, deleted, and permanently out of service. The skies will be cleared like a battlefield after war, and only one kingdom will remain. They may rule the air today, but heaven has an airstrike coming. If this episode shook something up in you, share it. That's kingdom work. That's a seed. That's enough. And I ask you to join us next time as we descend to thrones of the earth. Because while the skies have been whispering rebellion, the nations have been bowing to it. From ancient kings to modern presidents, the same spirits ruled the heavens and have moved their influence from the thrones of heaven into the thrones of politics, money, and religion. And the gods of the sky, they've got boots on the ground. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and as always, stay truthful.